open up the chat so you guys can pop your questions in. There we go. It's open now. Put your city that you're coming in from so I can see who's in the chat. I see Idris is in here. How you doing, Idris? And Aaron and Rebecca. I love that. I love the fact that you're doing this together as a family. One of the things I want to reiterate to you guys is don't forget that wealth is culture. Wealth is culture. So when you are whatever you do with your family, whatever your family values are, that is your culture. And so when you're shaping your family values, it makes sure you include economics as part of your family values in terms of what you do with money, how important money is, and how important money is not. Right, the things that are more important than money, and do that as a family. Bring your kids to class, man. I'm telling you, I'm good at this stuff. I can teach this stuff all day, and I would love to teach your children. In case you don't even know, you guys may or may not know, but we have a whole Black business school for kids called Black Millionaires of Tomorrow. And so if you want to go take a look at some of the stuff, we just created a crypto investing class for children that you can feel free to go take a look at. I think that's important, to learn how to invest in crypto the right way and also how to do it safely. And so if you want to take a look at that, all that stuff is, I put links to a lot of that stuff on my website at boycewatkins.com. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. Okay, so who else is in here? I see Joni Young is out of Las Vegas. Good to see you, Joni. I wish I was in Vegas. The weather's so much nicer there. Let's see, El Haj out of Winston-Salem. That's another place with nice weather. Robert McDonald from Dallas. All y'all have better weather than me. Let's see here. Chantel, good to see you, Chantel. Good morning, sister. Good morning. Alfred from Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Edina from Edina Watts. I see you from Delaware. Dennis Jackson from Louisville. That's my home city. Very nice. James Keller, B1 Philadelphia, B1 to you too. Kendall Green, good to see you. Kendall says, be careful in those planes. Yeah, well, Kendall must be following because I mentioned yesterday that you guys know, maybe you don't know, but I'll just tell you, I'm in flight training right now to become a pilot. And I decided I wanted to do it for my mama because my mama is she's having some health challenges, and I want to see my mama. I want to see my parents. And I was like, how can I be in two places at once? How can that work? And I said, oh, I get it. Maybe I can get a plane, or maybe I can learn how to fly a plane. So I decided to become a pilot. And yesterday, for the first time in my life, I actually took an airplane off the ground. I literally hit full throttle, flew down the runway, pulled back the yoke, which is the controller on the plane, and then just took off. And I'm gonna tell you, when that happened, my instructor was next to me. I had to keep it cool, but I literally wanted to scream. I literally was like, "Whoa!" Like that's how I felt. I'm not kidding. I felt just like, you want to talk about an adrenaline rush. I mean, who needs drugs when you can get high on life like that? I mean, I literally felt like I was gonna explode. And so now there's like landing. Landing's hard work. So I want to get better at that. Of course, I want to do it safely, but I'm gonna do this, and I already know when I get my airplane, I already know what I'm gonna call it. I'm going to call it the Robin and Larry. I'm gonna name it after my parents. That's what I'm gonna name my airplane. Let's see here. So Idris says I need to talk to someone in your company. Do you have a rep? Yes. In the Black Business School, we have excellent customer support. You can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. Don't write that down and write it down carefully. Don't forget the THE. Support@theblackbusinessschool.com. So if you have any issues at all, just email our support team, and they will make sure you're well taken care of. And they want to. Their job is to make you happy. If they don't make you happy, then I'm not happy, and that's not going to work. I said we take care of our people. Number one, top priority. That's what matters. Okay. All right. So let me hop in and if you have a question, put it in the Q&A section of the chat for class today. And sometimes I stream some parts of the class, online, but I'm focused on the questions that are coming from the students because you guys are investing in the school. So I got to invest in you first. No disrespect to anybody outside of that space, but sometimes I like to let people see kind of what we do in class so they can, in case they're thinking about joining us. And the other benefit of being in class, and I want to remind you of this, is that if you log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com, you can get access to a set of stocks that I pick for you every week that I like, stocks that it's called What Dr. Boyce is Buying. That is free in terms of a membership for everybody that's in the program. So make sure you take advantage of that. These are really good companies. And here's the thing, I'm in it with you. I'm investing in these companies with you. So, while nothing's guaranteed, If you don't make money, I don't make money. So ultimately, these are stocks that I'm actually buying myself. And in fact, one of the my favorite stock picks of this week actually is Amazon. I've mentioned Amazon before, and I'm throwing Amazon out there again because I just bought some more Amazon. So what I've been consistently doing, Amazon's my biggest holding. And the reason Amazon's my biggest holding is because I think Amazon is a good, solid, strong, safe company. But Amazon is not any more than maybe 5% of my portfolio. So the thing about investing is that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, which gets me to the world of crypto. Now, I want to start the conversation off today talking about crypto, and I want to explain to you exactly why crypto is a dangerous place to put your money. It does not mean it's a place you shouldn't put your money, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't put your money in crypto. I'm saying it's a dangerous place to put your money. So think about it like this: there are dangerous neighborhoods to do business in, but are there businesses in those neighborhoods? Yeah, there are businesses in those neighborhoods. Right? If you go to any hood in America, no matter how poor, no matter how violent, you can go to South Central LA in the 1980s when there were drive-bys and gang activity and everything. They still had businesses. They still had the liquor store. They still had the corner stores. They still had, all kinds of businesses. But what would you notice? Maybe in the gas station, you might see some bars on the windows. To be honest with you, just being honest, right? At the laundromat, maybe they had a security guard. So it didn't mean that you don't do business in those neighborhoods. It just because the money's good. People in poor neighborhoods have money too. It just means that you have to have a little more protection. That McDonald's that they put in the roughest neighborhood in Brooklyn, is a McDonald's that's gonna have to be a little bit careful to make sure that they're ready for anything that might pop off. Okay, so crypto is a dangerous neighborhood to invest in. But in many cases, the interesting thing about finance, this is the ultimate gift and the curse of investing, is that typically the most dangerous neighborhoods provide the most return for your money. There is what in finance, there is a universal relationship between risk and reward. And you've known about this your whole life. You've known about it your whole life. You ever hear somebody say nothing ventured, nothing gained? Anybody, you might give me a guess in the chat if you've heard people say that. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Give me a yes. How many of you have ever heard scared money don't make money? You ever hear that? Scared money don't make money. That's another one, right? That what they're saying is that if you don't take a risk, then you won't get the reward that comes with that risk. I saw a video this morning where there was a guy who saw a pretty girl and he stopped to go talk. He walked past the girl, then he turned around and he went to go back and talk to the girl. And his message was that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. He said, "Look, I'm gonna take my shot at this pretty girl, even though I have a fear of rejection. I'm gonna overcome my fear of rejection because if I have a fear." If I make my decisions based on fear, then I will never get the rewards that come with taking a chance, right? And a lot of us get trapped in that. We get trapped in that when it comes to investing. A lot of you have relatives that won't invest in the stock market at all because they're making their decisions based on fear. And then I want you to go to those people who live and make their decisions based on fear, and I want you to look at their economic situation. Chances are that the people who live their lives based on fear are not getting many of the benefits that come with life. They're not really enjoying where they are economically because why? Well, because they're not taking a chance. They're not willing to invest in anything. It's just like love. Sometimes you get your heart broken and you say, "Oh, I ain't never go. I'm done with these women. I ain't never gonna date nobody again. I ain't never gonna love no woman again. These women, they da da da." Right? Well, then you sit in your house and you're sad because what your ex girlfriend hurt your feelings or whatever, and you're scared to talk to the nice lady next door who isn't your girlfriend, but because you're so afraid you put up a wall because you want to stay safe, but then also you put up a barrier. You're not capable of receiving love anymore, and the joy and the highs that come with someone caring about you, because you're scared now. You're operating based on fear. And I get it, when it comes to money, when it comes to love, when it comes to everything in between, there are disappointments, there are crashes in the market, there are downturns, there are dark days in every venture that we take on. And one of the key things about being a good investor is that a good investor has the resilience to overcome the dark days so they can get to the light days. They can get through the storm so they can get to the rainbow at the end of the storm. Okay? They can go through the pain so they can get to the joy. Typically, the joy lives behind a little bit of pain and a little bit of discomfort. But if you can process it the right way, then it can be a win for you. So investing is the same way. So when I say crypto is dangerous, let's go back to crypto. When I say that crypto is a dangerous place to invest, I am not saying don't invest in crypto. I'm saying be careful. So let me tell you some reasons why the crypto markets are an incredibly dangerous place to invest. Now, this came to mind this morning because I read about some crypto murders or crypto deaths. Some what is it? Coincidental deaths of some of these young crypto billionaires. One of whom was found in the ocean right after he literally tweeted that he thinks somebody's gonna come try to kill him. Now he put it on the CIA and Mossad, and he said his ex-girlfriend was a spy and she's probably setting him up and all that. That's maybe what happened, but what I was really thinking about was something more direct, connected to the street. Crypto is a place where lots of dirty money goes. Lots of killers, gangsters, thugs, multimillionaire, even billionaire drug dealers hide their money in crypto. If Pablo Escobar was alive today, he would probably own about $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Seriously. So you are running an exchange. You're running FTX or one of these other exchanges, and Pablo Escobar has put $100 million of his money on your exchange, and he believes that money's safe. And he's not necessarily a qualified investor. He's not rolling with the punches. He's not thinking, well, your risk and reward, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. No, he's like, no, you better have my money. And if my money's exposed to a risk, because remember, crypto's unregulated. If my money's exposed to a risk that I'm not aware of, and then you tell me you don't have my money, what do you think is going to happen when you don't have Pablo's money? Pablo's not going to overlook that $100 million that he put on your exchange, especially if he didn't sign up for the risk. That's the thing. What's so crazy about what's going on with crypto, and I think that a lot of these young people are in danger. I'm serious. Like they enjoy all the fame and everything else that comes with everybody knowing who they are, and they go to these summits and they're like these brilliant tech billionaires from MIT and all this other stuff. They forget about the fact that you live in the real world, where if you're holding real people's real money. And when you're doing what FTX did, Sam Bankman-Fried did it, a lot of people did it. You are gambling with people's hard-earned money. Oh, they are going to come for that entire ass. Some of them are not gonna just sit and cry about it. Some of them are gonna say, "Oh, that guy, that's the guy that lost my money. Let's find out where that guy lives. Let's find out where." So not only are they in danger, but their whole families are in danger. You put everybody in danger because they're literally, these exchanges are doing something that you'll never see with American banks. You'll just never see it. You saw it in the 1920s, but you won't see it today. They literally took people's money, made them believe that it was safe, and then told the people when they came to get their money out, they're telling them, we don't have your money anymore. So these guys are gonna get, they're gonna get, some more of them are gonna get killed. There was another one that was just a 30-year-old who died in his sleep just last night. Tian Kuler, I think that's his name. The other one was named Mishenko or something. That sounds Russian. It sounds like, so if he's getting a whole lot of Russian money, let me just tell you, Russia is a very corrupt regime anyway. Russia is a country run by gangsters for the most part. All those oligarchs connected to Vladimir Putin, they're the reason that Russia is run by gangsters is pretty much because when the Berlin Wall went down, the country kind of went to chaos. And so the strongest thugs and gang leaders were able to basically accumulate resources and become multi-billionaires and make themselves look legitimate when really they're not legitimate at all. Vladimir Putin was put in office because Boris Yeltsin didn't want to go to jail, and he put Vladimir in power so Vladimir would make sure that he didn't go to jail. That's that. That's the Russian regime, right? So with Mishenko, the kid that died in the water, I'm sitting here wondering. I'm like, I wonder how many of these Russian gangster billionaires put their money in your exchange. You lost their money, and I wonder if one of those people came to get you. And then maybe the CIA did it too. I don't know. So the thing is that, unfortunately, because crypto is so unregulated, not only does the lack of regulation make it an inherently unsafe place to have money, where you have to be extremely, extremely careful, but also it just sort of maintains the dirtiness of the space. It creates unnecessary volatility in that space, and it's almost like a neighborhood that has no police in it. So you already got a bad neighborhood, and the cops won't even go there. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. So the cops are coming, right? The cavalry's supposedly coming. Maxine Waters and all the Democrats that were taking, millions of dollars from Sam Bankman-Fried, they're all now going to have hearings now, and they're going to allegedly pass legislation to protect consumers because consumers are upset that they lost so much money in this industry. Let's hope that they do it right. I doubt that they will because unfortunately your government isn't really qualified to do a lot of things right. But then again, maybe I'm just being cynical, but I do look at the numbers in terms of where the government is. Our debt to GDP ratio, it used to be, let's say 50 years ago, it was like maybe, I don't know, let's say 25% or 20% debt divided by GDP. Now that number's like 200% or something crazy like that. So what's the analogy? It's almost like, imagine if you have an amount of debt that is literally 2 or 3 times your income level. You're in trouble. So the U.S. government's in a lot of trouble economically because they don't make good decisions. But some other reasons why crypto is dangerous, and this is important for you to just understand this, is one, or in addition to not being regulated, there's also a lot of insider trading. They don't have the ability to prosecute insider trading on crypto exchanges the way they can on stock exchanges, largely because there's not even been a designation as to whether or not crypto is even a security. With stocks, all that got settled back in the 1930s. They passed laws during the Great Depression to protect stock market investors to make sure that insider traders weren't allowed to have advantages over other people. Insider trading is when you can make money because you have information that the public does not have. Crypto doesn't have those regulations. So there are a lot of people that are trading in crypto that have rigged the game against you. A lot of people inside the crypto space are able to literally print their own money by basically moving ahead of the curve. For example, they might know little things like the fact that a crypto is going to be listed on a major exchange, which is going to push the price up. They can go ahead and buy the crypto while the price is low, and then when the crypto gets listed, the price goes up, and then they're selling it back to you. They're selling it to you because you found out that the crypto's on the exchange by watching the local news. They found out from their buddies who were programmers at whatever exchange was about to list that crypto. So ultimately, insider trading is a big problem. There's a reason why there are laws against it. That's why Martha Stewart is doing TV shows with Snoop Dogg now, because she went to prison for insider trading because she got some significant material, non-publicly available information that allowed her to make money that regular people could not make. So crypto does not have any of these protections. That's why you got to be careful. Now, one thing I want to mention, one of you all asked about this. Don't forget that we're actually doing in the Black Business School. We're doing a 4-week training boot camp on Black Wall Street. It's basically called the Hidden Story of Black Wall Street. This is a really powerful presentation being done by a brother I met in Tulsa named Cody Ransom, who runs the Black Wall Street Liquid Lounge. And Cody gave me a fascinating presentation of all these things about Black Wall Street that we did not know. And as you guys know, we made a movie about Black Wall Street called Resurrecting Black Wall Street. And so Cody is a guy we invited into the Black Business School so you can learn from him. And we hope that you'll bring your whole family, because your whole family needs to know the detailed story of Black Wall Street, not just in terms of what happened and what's owed to us, but also in terms of blueprints. Like, he knows exactly how they did it, how they structured their businesses. Well, one of the biggest things that was most fascinating about Black Wall Street is that a lot of the people that created and ran Black Wall Street and made it prosper, they were not really capitalists. They didn't operate like capitalists. One of the individuals, I want to say it was J.B. Stratford, he had a rule where he basically said, if you have this space to put your business in this space, we'll rent it to you for either a low cost or a revenue share. But the requirement is that if you rent this space and there's space for more than one business, you have to put another Black-owned business in that space. You've got to help other Black-owned businesses if you want us to help you. So these are little things that they did that you don't really see in Eurocentric capitalism that I thought was really brilliant. So we're going to do that. It's going to be a 4-week thing. It starts December 9th. If you'd like to join, you can go to my website, boycewatkins.com. It's all right there. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. And also, my wife and I are starting a Love and Money Masterclass on December 4th. And that is the first offering in our newly formed Black Financial Therapy Department. We created a Black Financial Therapy Department in the Black Business School. It's the first ever created. I don't know about anywhere that I've ever seen. And we're basically working with the best therapists to help Black people get past the psychological barriers that we're dealing with that keep us from building Black wealth. You guys know my wife is a full professor of social work. She's also a licensed therapist and a certified clinical trauma professional. And you guys know my PhDs in finance. So we kind of brought the best of both worlds together and created that department. So we're doing a Love and Money Masterclass. It's going to last 4 weeks. Feel free to go to boycewatkins.com if you'd like to join us for either one of those events. Okay, so the other reason, let's talk about crypto a little bit more. Some other reasons why crypto is not safe is because there are a lot of pump and dump schemes. A pump and dump, in case you don't know, is when someone artificially pumps up the price to get everybody to buy in, to get their so-called suckers to buy in, and then they dump it. They sell when the price goes high. I've seen some very public pump and dumps that took place during the stock market boom in 2020 and 2021. A couple that come to mind are, one, if you recall, FTX. Before FTX went bankrupt, they did a Super Bowl commercial. Anybody remember that Super Bowl ad? Anybody remember seeing Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle Bunchkin, I think that's her name? She's a supermodel. She's actually worth more than Tom Brady. She's worth about $400 million. He's worth about $250 million. She was literally one of the most influential women on the planet as far as, white women go. Well, anyway, Tom and Giselle did an ad for FTX, and they basically were calling all their friends and saying, "Are you in? Are you in? Are you in?" And what they were doing was they were playing on this psychological effect that one of my dissertation committee members named David Hirschleifer used to write about this. And what he used to write about is what they call the herding effect, that investors tend to follow the crowd. People tend to operate like sheep. And it's very dangerous because sheep get what? What happens to sheep? Do sheep go on and prosper and live happily ever after? Or do sheep, they get their heads chopped off? They get led to what? Led to slaughter, right? So David Hirschleifer, who was on my dissertation committee, he's a brilliant guy, and I thank him to this day, because without him, I wouldn't have got my PhD. He used to write about the herding effect, and he was one of the best in the world at this. And I remember him showing me and showing us that investing isn't really rational, that investors don't really sort of do all the due diligence to figure out what a good investment looks like and what a bad investment looks like. What investors tend to do is they just tend to follow the crowd. They tend to just go along with what is called social proof. So in this ad with FTX, which is why FTX was able to get billions of dollars out of people and lose their money, is they leaned on the herding effect to get everybody to want to go put their money on this exchange. So they had this commercial with these influential people. Tom Brady, he's the GOAT of the NFL. I hate saying that. I wish I could say that about a black man. Even though I think my personal favorite GOAT is probably Jim Brown, but still, Tom Brady's won more Super Bowls than anybody else. He's an amazing guy. He does this ad where he's calling up all these people and saying, "Are you in? Are you in? Are you in?" And all these people are like, "I'm in, I'm in." And then one guy's like, "I hate you because you left New England, but I'm in too." Right? So the persuasion that's occurring is you're hearing this person who's really skeptical, who's like, "I hate you. I don't like you because you left New England and I'm mad about it. But I'm in, even I'm in," right? So what that does is that makes a lot of people want to go put their money on FTX and make them want to put their money into crypto. So pump and dumps are driven by that, right? So they pump up the price, and then when the price goes up, a lot of the people that know what's really going on, they get out. They get out while the getting's good. This happened also with a guy named Michael Cohen, who had stock. What was it? I want to say it was Bed Bath and Beyond. Michael Cohen literally he played with the brains of all the Wall Street bets guys, all the Reddit traders that were buying the meme stocks, and he got them all riled up, pumped up, putting their money in, pushing these prices up, and secretly behind the scenes, from what my impression was based on what I read in my reports and my spidey senses tells me that behind the scenes there was a plan to say, as soon as we get this price up, we're going to sell this stock. This is another example of a highly inefficient, highly problematic market. Uh, Third, liquidity risk. Another reason why crypto is very dangerous. In addition to it being unregulated, in addition to the insider trading, in addition to the pump and dumps, you've got liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is basically the risk that you might not get your money back, the risk that you might try to go and convert your asset back into cash because you need it, and you might not be able to get your money. And that's what you're seeing all over the place right now. Somebody mentioned BlockFi is declaring bankruptcy, and all these other crypto companies are declaring bankruptcy. Well, when they declare bankruptcy, you don't get your money back 9 times out of 10. You're not high on the creditor list most of the time. So most of these exchanges are not going to give people their money back. So that those are the risks of crypto. Now that I've kind of spent my time kind of crapping on crypto and telling you why it's a terrible place to invest, let me explain why I'm going to sound like the biggest hypocrite in the world, because I actually have a decent, substantial investment in crypto. It's not more than 5% of my portfolio, but I'm a big crypto investor. I told you all, a dangerous neighborhood does not mean that you can't do business in a dangerous neighborhood. It just means you got to be safe. You got to be careful. Do you understand? Give me a yes if you get what I'm saying. Okay, I'm spending a little time on this because I want you guys to really understand this is an important investment lesson that I really want to sort of discuss with you. So here's what I do with crypto. Especially now, number one, I tend to focus on the big boys. Here's one of the most amazing things that's happened during the crypto crash. Bitcoin has dropped 69%, right? Terrible. Oh my God, that's horrible, right? But do you know how much Bitcoin costs right now? Somebody give me the price of Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin worth right now on the market? Let's look. Let's Google this. Google has the answer to everything. The price of Bitcoin. What's the price of Bitcoin? $16,375.50. Now let me do a little financial magic trick, and I want to show you all what Bitcoin's price was just a few years ago, so you can understand why this is absolutely a miracle. Just go back 5 years. Look at this. 3,700. You could have bought Bitcoin for 3,700. If you go further back, what's this? Back April 15th, 2016, you could have got Bitcoin for $433. So $433 to $16,375. So if you bought 100 Bitcoin back then, it would have cost you $4,300. Today, 100 Bitcoin will be worth 1.6 million bucks. So Bitcoin is miraculously and beautifully holding its value at a level that would have been unimaginable just 5 years ago. That's the miracle of Bitcoin. That's the power of Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin is the bull that's still sitting in the stable that's letting the storm go by. And as soon as this crypto winter is over, Bitcoin is going to be leading the charge. Bitcoin's going to go, it's going to go crazy. That's why I want to own Bitcoin. Now, on the flip side of that, you've got hundreds, I wouldn't say even thousands. Actually, there's approximately 12,100 zombie coins that are now officially dead. You had 12,100 Bitcoin wannabes that are gonna be gone forever, that are gonna be made illegal. Even the people that promoted these schemes are now being sued and stuff like that. So these were all garbage, but there is some inherent amazing value right there in the crypto space. And so think about it. What if you just, I mean, I want you to really think about this though for a second. 2016, you could have bought 100 Bitcoin for $4,300. Did I do that right? I said 43,000. I'm sorry. No, sorry, 4,300. It's actually 43,000. So excuse me. Sorry for doing bad math this morning. Y'all gotta forgive me. I taught math to college students, but apparently I can't do multiplication. So 100 Bitcoin for 43K, right? You probably spent $43,000, over the, let's say that 2 or 3 year span on a bunch of stuff that you don't even remember. Seriously, some of y'all are making real money. Some of y'all probably spend more than that in less than a year. But even for those of you that with modest incomes, you've probably spent $43,000 on stuff where you don't even remember where it went. If I was to go back and add up all the money you spent in the last decade on fast food, new shoes, um, clothes that you don't even wear, going on trips that you barely remember, going out to dinner with people you didn't even like. If I was to add all that up, you could have bought you some Bitcoin. You could have just said, hey, you know what? I'm wasting money anyway. I might as well waste money on this stupid little digital coin that it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. It's up to $433. It can't be worth more than that. It can't go much higher than that. My God, that's crazy, right? That's what people were saying in 2016. Like, whoa, Bitcoin's at $400. Can it get any higher? This is insanity. Ah! Right? No, you don't know nothing. Like, stop overestimating how much you know. The first thing you should understand, if you're trying to be a knowledgeable person, and some of you are already knowledgeable, some of you are gonna be more knowledgeable over time. But the first thing you should understand, in my view, is understand how little you actually do understand. Understand how little you actually know. And if you understand things that way, then what you'll realize is that what you're seeing in 2022 gives you very little indication of what you're going to see in 2023, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. There are things that your future self could come back and tell you about investing in crypto that would probably blow your mind right now. That would blow your mind. Just like there are things you could tell your 2016 self right now. 2016 wasn't that long ago. Even if you're young, 2016 was 6 years ago. There are things you could tell your 2016 self that would blow his mind or blow her mind. So what I want you to do is kind of just understand it in that way. And so when people talk about investing and someone says, well, why invest? Well, maybe a better question is, why not? Why not? Again, I know I did the math wrong. I apologize. I said 100 Bitcoin would be 4,300. It's actually 10. But 10 Bitcoin today would be worth still $160,000. You go from 4,300 to 160,000. That's a pretty good move. And some of you probably blew $43,000 over a 2 or 3 year period. If that same amount of money had been invested in Bitcoin, that $43,000 investment will be worth $1.6 million. Okay. So ultimately, what I want you to do is to understand that there are ways to protect yourself. How else do I protect myself? Number one, crypto is not more than 5% of my portfolio. Number two, I put my money on different exchanges. I don't put all my money in one place. Number three, I always ask myself, what if? What if something goes wrong? What if Coinbase goes bankrupt and I lose all my money? Am I still going to be okay? If the answer is no, then that means you need to make an adjustment. So then number four, I tend to lean heavily toward the big boys. I lean toward Bitcoin. I have a belief in Ethereum, even though Ethereum's hurt from what's been going on lately. I don't really get too involved in stuff like Dogecoin or whatever, unless I have an appetite for gambling, because that's pretty much what that is. An investment in Dogecoin is not an investment. It is gambling. It is gambling at worst, speculation at best. So just be really thoughtful about how you invest in crypto. I don't think you should miss out on it, though. I think crypto is going to be one of those great places where you can make a lot of money. And then someone says you should put your crypto on a ledger. That is true. If you want to, if you really want to be super safe, you should have that cold storage. Take it offline and everything else. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really do that, and it's because I'm okay with assuming that risk. I don't care enough about having to write down a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper that I'll probably lose anyway. I like having it on an exchange, right? But that's a risk that I choose to take. Some of you may not choose to take that same risk. Okay. All right. So let me go in and I'm start answering your questions. You put questions in the Q&A. So let's see here. Carol says, do you recommend using a trading journal? I don't really use one myself, but I can understand maybe why. Maybe you can kind of do that to keep yourself centered and remember what your goals are and what your previous moves are, especially for those of you that are in the Prime program. If you're doing stuff with options and generating income off your stock options, maybe a journal could be beneficial to kind of keep track of things. And actually, speaking of journals, I actually put there is a journal that I did create that can help you actually elevate your economic understanding. It's actually available on Amazon if you want to take a look at it. It's called 30 Days to Black Wealth and Power. So if you look at 30 Days to Black Wealth and Power, it literally is a reflective journal where each day for 30 days, I give you an insightful question that you can answer for yourself to help you have what I refer to as economic consciousness, or to become financially woke, meaning that you have economic awareness. Because the first step toward improving something is you must be aware of it, right? So you think about health. The first thing before I actually get healthy, I have to have an awareness and an acknowledgement of where I am health wise. I have to acknowledge maybe I eat too much sugar, or acknowledge that maybe I'm a little bigger than I need to be, and acknowledge that I have goals that go beyond where I am right now, and figure out what those goals are. And then I begin to put together a plan to improve that situation, and then I have to work the plan. I have to execute the plan. So the journal is called 30 Days to Black Wealth and Power. It's available right there on Amazon. I also have another book called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power that I released earlier this year. So feel free to take a look at that. The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power is it's built more so on families. It's really built on saying, what are 10 rules that if a family follows these 10 rules, that family is going to be economically strong and powerful. So I make the rules very basic, very simple. You can explain them even to your 5 or 10-year-old. And if everyone in the family understands these rules, then you're probably going to have an economically prosperous, economically strong family. Again, because economics is heavily built on culture, it's so much deeper than just, whether or not somebody gave you a bunch of money, or if you have a good job, or if you went to college or not. So the two books, Chanel, can you type the names of the books in the chat? The names of the books are 30 Days to 30 Days to Black Wealth. Wait, here, let me see if I can find a copy over here. Yeah, here's one, 30 Days to Black Wealth and Power. That's this one. And then this one is the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And so, so for example, there's one thing that we go through. I'll read one part to you. How to create an economy in your own family. So we talk about that, like what that even looks like. A lot of us think that the economy is like this big thing that we're just sort of a part of. And we know when they say on TV the economy is bad, but what does that really mean? An economy is actually something you can create in your own house. So I show you how to create your own economy. So feel free to take a look at that. It's all available on Amazon. Larry Brown says, I'm making money in a firm in Coinbase with selling options, but the prices are down. Should I keep buying shares? Okay, Larry. Well, that's outside the scope of this. This is stock market class. So we're talking about stock market investing from the buy side. But to answer your question very quickly, in terms of what I'm doing, I'm buying more. And so with stock options, it is a different thing. Remember, when you're selling options, that is a bearish strategy. You're selling the upside. You're not waiting to see what's going to happen. You're just going to take your money and put it in your account, and that's it. And so with Coinbase and the firm, because I've committed to those assets, I buy more when the price goes down. But then also remember, you buy your put options to protect yourself in case the price goes down too far. So whatever strategy you take, you always have to have your insurance in case things go wrong. So whenever I'm buying new shares, I'm also buying more puts to protect those investments, and then I start generating the income. Those of you that have an interest in that kind of thing, you can join us. We're going to have class really soon. We're going to talk nothing about anything but options and selling options. You can go to drboyceprime.com. That's drboyceprime.com. Let's see here. I have a $75 credit in the Black Business School. I want to take that money to pay my monthly subscription. Okay, you know what? Okay, well, how about this? They said it's not possible. Okay, well, tell them. I don't know your name. I don't see your name here, but if you tell them to forward it to me, and I'll take a look and see what can be done. Maybe we can give you something free to make it worth your while. I don't know. I trust the support team, whatever they said. But if there's something we can do, we'll definitely do it. So tell them I said to forward it to me because you're a student in the class, and I'll make sure you get taken care of. Ron says, how about Coinbase? Do you still do options on it? Yes, I do own Coinbase, and I do sell options on Coinbase. Coinbase is a stock that's really volatile. It's a stock that's been going up and down a lot. But it's a stock that's great if you're centered on just generating the income from the options. So with Coinbase, I bought a lot of puts. So when Coinbase started dropping, it didn't hurt me so bad because I had the puts. But if you don't have the puts, Coinbase can be kind of a bear of an asset to hold on to because crypto is so crazy right now. But the benefit of the crazy is that when the market's volatile, that's when your options premiums go up. So if you're generating income, regular income from selling stock options, Coinbase is one of the best, right? The income is high, but remember, every time you gain one thing, you're losing something else, or every time you lose one thing, you're gaining something else. So always look at the yin and the yang. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So when Coinbase options are paying more money, what I then do is I say, okay, I got to be that much more diligent about protecting myself from the downside. Okay. Let's see. Rarick says, how do you feel about Google? I think it's a great company. I own a lot of Google. If you want to see the stocks that I picked for this week, I picked a set of stocks for you guys this week. Just log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Look under what Dr. Boyce is buying, and I gave you 5 more stocks for this week. And one of the stocks that I always love is I love Amazon. That's not one that I picked this week because I picked it before. And also I like Disney. I think Disney has a lot of good prospects. It's interesting also in terms of interesting economic things that are happening now. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Chinese companies once these protests are done. China's having a lot of problems with its zero COVID policy. So a lot of people are starting to do something that they don't really do in China, which is they're actually revolting now. And as a result of this, it's causing Apple some distribution problems because one of the big, uprisings occurred at an Apple factory, which is a big problem for them. But this is leading a lot of people to wonder if China is going to stick to their zero COVID policy. I don't think that they will because the policy was kind of silly to begin with. All right, so let's see here. Next question. How are you doing with a firm? Okay, so save that, Shaniqua, for the prime class. I'll send you guys a text. I just wanted to send you guys an invitation to the stock market class because as a prime member, you get invited to all kinds of stuff. So drboyceprime.com, if you log in there, and you can also leave questions for me, and I'm going to answer a bunch of the questions today. I record everything. I put it all in there, so you can log into drboyceprime.com and take a look at all the questions I've answered for all the students, and you can learn a lot from there. Let's see here. Okay, that question about puts, I'm going to save that for prime class. So let's I want to focus on the stock stuff now, but we'll definitely do that in prime class. So bring that question back up when we meet, and you'll get a text message about that soon. Are you able to open a custodial account to purchase crypto for your kid? El Hodge, I know that Stash has custodial accounts, and I think Stash sells crypto. I don't use Stash that much. I can't say for sure. But another way to really get crypto for your kids, to be honest with you, in my opinion, is you can keep it simple and old school. You can just buy it and just hold it and keep it in your possession and then give it to them when you're ready. I don't necessarily think that giving your child access to a lot of money is a good idea at an early age because kids are not that smart when it comes to money yet. They're just not mature. Their brains haven't fully developed until they're 25 years old. And for some people, they still got to get to the age of 30 before they're really mature and disciplined when it comes to money. That's the curse of all these NBA players that get, these $100 million contracts. They blow all their money by the time they're 24 years old, and then their career is over, and they spend their whole life regretting what they did with their money. So ultimately, I invest heavily for my kids, and I have, in addition to that, trusts and insurance policies and all kinds of crap. They don't know anything about any of that. I don't even want to tell them much about any of that. I'm sure they can guess that if I died, they would probably get some money, but I really kind of don't give them much information on that because I don't want them to lose the joy of being hungry. What made me a successful person, if you want to call it that, was I was poor. I was broke. I was struggling. I was trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I was I was trying to get a nut, trying to just do something in the world, and that drove me, right. And I don't know if I would have had that same drive if somebody had told me, oh, you got $500,000 coming, when you get to be 20 something years old. It would have taken away a lot of that joy that comes from achieving things. So I'm not saying that rich kids can't accomplish things. I'm just saying you got to be really careful. The big mistake that a lot of people in this generation have made, in my view, looks like I'm frozen. Hold on. Is I think that we take that away from our kids. We try to make their lives all cushy and nice and comfortable, and then we wonder why they're a bunch of spoiled brats who don't want to do anything. Not that all of our kids are like that. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but you know what I'm talking about. They didn't grow up in the hood like you. They didn't have to work for anything like you. So why would they value money the way you did? They're not going to. You have to teach them that. So anyway, let's see here. I wanted to tell you thank you for giving me the blueprint on how to look at money and what to do with my money, because what you have taught me will change my family future forever. Yeah, Rarick, I'm very happy to help you with that. The thing is that these um, solutions are not hard. They're not hard to understand. They're not hard to implement. The hard part is getting over the cultural barriers, or retraining ourselves. We have to re-educate ourselves on how to even view and how to think about money. So many of the things that we were taught as kids, so much of the stuff that we consider to be gospel, was just flat out wrong. And I'm as a guy who studied finance a lot for a long period of time, a lot of this stuff is as plain as day, in my mind, and it's stuff that can be explained very quickly and very easily. So I encourage you to apply just even a fraction of it. If you apply even just a little bit of what we talk about, your family will probably not just do better than most black families. You'll probably do better than most white families, because white people get duped too. The white working class, they get, lied to and manipulated, into excessive consumerism and everything else, just like the black middle and lower class does, the black working class, just like, so it's just different for us, because being black kind of means that the exploitation is going to run a little bit deeper, because you have so much value that you bring to the world that can be extracted. And then also because you're black, right, you're going to get a little bit of a differential treatment there. But it's not that hard to have an average net worth that exceeds the average white person. It's not that hard for a black person with proper planning, with good family culture, to have more money than the average white person. That's not an impossible task. It's very, very straightforward. So little things like the $5 a day investing plan, you can pick up a copy of my website, boycewatkins.com. Just doing that alone, right there, will put your family ahead of 80-90% of all families in this society within the next 25 or 30 years. It's literally that simple. Okay. All right. So